All right, welcome. Sustainability can feel like this massive, kind of abstract buzzword, right? Well, today we're going to make it real. And we're going to do that by zeroing in on one country that's tackling this challenge head on, the Philippines. So let's kick things off with a big question. Think about it. If you're a nation made up of over 7,000 islands, how on earth do you power your future in a way that's clean and secure? To even begin to answer that, we've got to look at the data. And wow, this chart, it really tells a story. You can see right here, the Philippines' share of renewable energy is just 2.5%. That's way behind its neighbors in the region and, frankly, miles behind the global average. What this really means is the country is super reliant on fossil fuels, which it has to import. And you know how volatile those prices can be. So yeah, it's a huge gap. But, and this is the important part, that gap also represents a massive opportunity. And that's the perfect lead-in to our first big idea, the clean energy revolution. Because this isn't just about playing catch-up. It's about a chance to leapfrog, to jump right into a whole new era of energy. Okay, so take a look at this. What's just staggering here is how much of the pie is taken up by fossil fuels. We're talking 78% of the country's entire energy mix. This right here, this is the challenge. This is the status quo that has to shift. So you're probably thinking, if they're so hooked on fossil fuels, where's this revolution supposed to come from? Well, the secret is in the geography. The Philippines is literally sitting on a gold mine of natural, untapped energy. Get a load of this number, 178 gigawatts. And that's just from offshore wind potential. Now, a gigawatt, that's a huge amount of power. So to put 178 of them into perspective for you, that's more than 5 times the country's entire current power capacity, the whole thing. Just an incredible amount of clean energy waiting to be harnessed from the sea. And we're not done yet. On top of that, you've got another 122 gigawatts of potential from solar. So you can see the ingredients are all there, right? Thousands of sun-drenched islands just ready to go. And this isn't just some far-off dream. The Philippines is already a powerhouse in one area. Because it's sitting right on the Pacific Ring of Fire, it's already the world's 3rd largest producer of geothermal energy. So they've got a proven track record here. They know how to do this. So what's the takeaway? The country has all this potential, and now they've set a really ambitious goal: turn that potential into power. The target is to get renewables to make up 35 to 50% of the energy mix by 2040. That's a huge leap. Okay, so energy is a huge piece of the puzzle. But what about food? How do you feed a growing population in a way that doesn't wreck the planet? Let's shift gears to the future of food, where it turns out some of the best answers come from mixing ancient wisdom with modern tech. And where better to start than with a solution that's literally thousands of years old, the famous rice terraces. They're not just beautiful to look at, they're an absolute masterclass in sustainable farming. And the reason they've worked for so long is it's genius in its simplicity. It's all a closed-loop system. They use organic fertilizers. They stop the soil from washing away. They manage water incredibly well. These ancient techniques have kept communities going for generations. But what's really cool is how that ancient wisdom is sparking new ideas today. We're seeing modern solutions, like integrated farming systems, that are built on the exact same principles. A great example is something called rice duck farming. You literally have ducks in the rice paddies. They eat the pests, and their droppings fertilize the fields naturally. It means you need fewer chemicals, the soil gets healthier, and hey, the farmers get another source of income from the ducks. It's just a perfect example of sustainability in action. Okay, so from the farm, let's head into the city. Because let's be real, our buildings and cities have a huge environmental footprint. So the question becomes, how do we start rethinking the very world we build around ourselves? Well, in the Philippines, a big part of the answer is something called BERDE. It's a bit of a mouthful. It stands for Building for Ecologically Responsive Design Excellence. But basically, it's the country's national playbook for green buildings. So what does that actually mean in practice? Well, BRD looks at a bunch of key things. It's all about making buildings super efficient with energy and water, using local and recycled materials whenever possible, and making sure the air quality inside is actually healthy for the people in them. It's a really smart, holistic way to think about construction. All right, for our last section, let's look to the future. We've talked about energy, food, and buildings. So how do we speed all this up? How do we accelerate the change? Well, a big part of the answer is technology.
And I'm not just talking about any tech, specifically things like artificial intelligence. See, AI isn't just one more solution on the list, it's what we call a force multiplier. It's a tool that can make all the other solutions we've talked about way smarter, way faster, and just better. And here are some real-world examples. In farming, AI can help farmers use the perfect amount of water and fertilizer, no waste. For energy, it can help build smart grids that actually predict when we'll need the most power and then pull in renewable sources smoothly. And for disaster planning, which is so critical in the Philippines, AI can create flood maps in real time and make early warning systems much more effective.
There's this quote that really just hits the nail on the head. It says, sustainability is a systems approach. It's not about just fixing one little thing over here. It's about seeing how everything is connected. And it takes real human ingenuity, engineers, scientists to connect all those dots and see the whole big picture. And look, if you ever feel like these problems are just too big, that real change can't happen, just look at the story of the Pasig River. Back in the 90s, this river was declared biologically dead. Nothing could live in it. But today, after a massive, coordinated effort to clean it up, the water quality is better and fish are actually coming back. It's this incredible, powerful symbol that recovery is possible.
So, that really brings us to the final thought here. We've seen the incredible potential, we've seen the ambitious plans, and we've seen hard proof that big, positive change can happen. The tools, the ideas, they're all there. So the only question left, really, is what's our role going to be in making that sustainable future a reality?